In more than 30 years of screen printing, designing and manufacturing screen printing equipment, and selling supplies, plus talking to many thousands of screen printers and visiting many shops, I've seen horrible practices that can cost you your business and cost you your health. This video will cover some of these horrible practices which are so common in our industry so that you don't make these mistakes. And let's go. The first one on the list is spray adhesive and liquid adhesive. You don't want to be using these products, and here's why. First of all, spray adhesive is cancer and emphysema in the can. Apply liberally for best results. This is bad stuff. When you spray the platen to hold the shirt in place, the spray is in the air and you're inhaling it. It's in your lungs. So it's not coming out. It's terrible stuff. You really shouldn't use this. That's the worst thing about spray, is the health issue. But there are other issues with it as well. Not only does the spray end up on the platen, it ends up on the machine, on the table, on the floor, the walls, even the ceiling. And then that adhesive attracts lint. Now your shop looks like it's been flocked. It's disgusting. And if you have employees working in those kind of conditions, are they really going to care about the quality of the product that you're delivering to your customer when they work in such a terrible environment? So it's bad in terms of cleanliness. It's bad in other respects too, because when you go to load and remove shirts, it slows you down. If you watch any of our videos about making money, for example, or increasing production, we talk about pieces per hour. You're not going to achieve those numbers if you're using this stuff. So it hurts your production. Now what some people do, instead of using the mist, which gets all over, they go to web. Web, in fact, outsells mist 10 to 1 in the industry. And web comes out like big globs of glue. So you don't have as much in the atmosphere, although you do. It's still a health hazard, still makes a mess. But instead, it tends to be more concentrated in big globs. And so when you remove the shirts, you'll find the adhesive on the inside of the shirt, for example. And it's harder to get the shirts on, harder to get the shirts off. Why do people use that? It's because when they find that the adhesives are not terribly effective, instead of cleaning the adhesive, they spray the web over. And now you get a lumpy platen. And so when you're printing, you're not going to get the same print quality. What about cost? Well, you pay for these cans. How many prints do you get? And what's your option? Well, there is an option. And by the way, what people do with sprays, they often use a palette tape like this, which they put on their palette. They spray the palette, and then rather than clean, which takes time and it's a nasty job, they peel the paper off, throw it away, put another piece of paper on. This stuff's not free. So it's an expense. It's a continuing expense. Dealers love to sell you these products because you're hooked. You just keep coming back more and more, and you just keep sending money to that dealer. So it's an expense. Those are expensive options. What is the best option? The best option is double tape. This is a sheet of double tape. And what this really is, it's a piece of plastic with adhesive on both sides and paper on both sides. So I'm peeling back the paper, and what I have there is sticky. Now the other side of that plastic sheet is also sticky. So I would remove this paper and then stick the sticky paper down on my plat and remove the other piece of paper. Now I have a sticky platen. And when I get lint in it, as I do with any adhesive, all I do is take a spray can of water and I spray the platen heavily. Then I put my hands flat on the plat and go around in a circular motion, and the lint rolls up in little balls. And then you can just dust them off into the waste can. So the only thing in the atmosphere is water. That's okay. There's no health hazard to water. And now I can continue to print. How many prints can I get out of this? Customers report getting 12 to 1,400 prints per sheet. So this stuff is cheap compared to those other options. And here's how to make it even better. Don't cover the whole platen. Let's say you're doing a chest print. or pocket print, you just put down as much of this as you need to cover the image area. So there's zero adhesive on the rest of the platen, so you can load and unload quicker. And that helps your pieces per hour, which is the subject of making money in other videos. Okay. Another thing about this is when you first get it, it's by design too sticky. That gives it longer life and gives you better value. So we recommend when you first put double tape down, take a cotton tee or sweatshirt and drape it over the double tape, pick it up. That transfers lint into the adhesive, and do it again and again and again. And so it's not quite so sticky, okay? So you've taken the aggressiveness of the adhesive out of this. Then go about your business of printing. And when the adhesive is no longer terribly effective, of course you have to stop, you spray the water, put your hands down, rub, dust and continue. Now the adhesive is not nearly as sticky as it once was, and so it's easier to load and remove shirts, and yet the adhesive will hold the shirt in place while you're printing, as opposed to the liquid adhesives and the spray adhesives. When you reapply those adhesives, they're real sticky again, and you're fighting those adhesives. Now, I actually listed up here not only spray but liquid. Liquid is better than spray in that you don't have it in the atmosphere. It does have an odor to it because it contains solvents, and you may not like the solvents, but it's certainly not as bad as the spray. And with liquid, you have to coat the platen, and then you have to stop and hang around while it's drying enough to proceed to print. So printing 100, 120 shirts an hour on a manual press, or 500 or 1,000 shirts an hour on an automatic, forget it if you have to do that every 35 to 50 shirts. So it's a low productivity item to use liquid adhesives. Liquid and sprays are bad for your business. That's the bottom line. And what you really want to go to is a product that has longer life, allows you to load and unload quicker, doesn't create a health hazard, doesn't make a mess of your shop, and it's cheaper. So that's the story on adhesives. Now we're going to go on to stretch and glue frames, one of my favorite subjects.